Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25. And yes, I decided to shave. I know you guys could probably tell right off the hop, and it's only because I was getting Nutella into my mustache and it was friggin' annoying as shit. But anyways, if you didn't catch the last episode of our Islanders franchise mode, basically we started up the simulation for year number 1. And so far, it's been a little bit of an inconsistent start. I don't really know what to make of our team. We are 10, 11, and 4, which is at least still around 500, so we are still like hovering around a playoff spot, but I've been not impressed with some areas of our team. If I remove my face here for a second, you can see we are currently 31st in goals for, so our offense has been absolutely dreadful. However, we're a good defensive team in terms of goaltending, probably especially like Sorokin's been fantastic so far with a 920 save percentage. Our power play and penalty kill have been pretty bad too, though. So the only thing going for us right now is our goals against. So I don't know if this team's all of a sudden going to flip the script, so to speak, or if they're going to become really bad and obviously miss the playoffs. So it's a really weird spot to be in. I think probably the adjustment we're going to make in this episode is probably just going to be reworking our lines a bit and seeing if we could get better chemistry out of it. And maybe that will be enough to help our team get out of this little hole we're in. But anyways, before we get into assimilating more of the season, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then we will probably simulate a little bit up until before the trade deadline. That way in next episode, we could maybe make some big deals depending on where we're at that point in time. So we got a lot of long comments. I'm going to get into the first two, which are from James Blum, who's an actual Islanders fan. So this actually will be very helpful. His first comment says, Lou Lamoriello, when he came here, inherited a terrible team and turned them into a perennial playoff contender overnight. I, for one, am super thankful for what he's done on the island. We are one of those teams that no one wanted to come to, and that has changed. None of his rentals have left his tenure. He's made the organization an attractive one, and no trade clauses as well as suburban Long Island are very attractive to hockey players. Around 18 of the players live in the same town with houses and families. Guys who were retired like 5 years ago have stayed because of Lou. In my opinion, no trade clauses are a valuable asset and should be used to our advantage. It's what got guys like Bo Horvat to sign here. I'm not saying they're always good, but I think they're a positive thing. Palmieri has low overall, but Nelson should definitely stick around. He's a staple of the community and major line driver. He and Palmieri is the second best duo on the team, but since he's a lower overall, I would look for someone else to pair up with Brock, maybe of similar age, making Palmieri expendable, even though he's really likes it here, born on Long Island. Hockey players are loyal guys generally, and they like security. Our biggest negotiation point is that Long Island is a nice place to live and raise a family, and so far as realism goes, I think it's of our best interest to hold on to guys with no trade clauses and not be afraid to give out more. Good luck. So that's an interesting way of viewing it. I didn't realize a lot of like the players like live really like in similar areas and stuff like that. So they're all kind of like, I don't know, raising families together. Their kids are becoming friends with each other, that type of thing. Like it seems like a big family kind of vibe with the Islanders. I didn't realize it was all like that. So that's kind of neat. As far as no trade clauses go, obviously a lot of them suck, but I think, like I was mentioning in the last episode, a lot of them maybe we could try and contend at least for 4 years. And when their trade clauses become like modified, it will be easier to move them. And maybe that's when we actually just start to tear down the team a little bit. Because obviously, right now, this team definitely has a lot of strengths to it. So I think that might be obviously the play. James also says Clifton has ties to the New York area, and Obey Kabul would help with depth scoring for sure. Kopp and Comfer are not much of an upgrade from Palmieri, in my opinion. Matt Savoy, even though he's not entirely NHL ready, is someone I would give picks up for, and potentially an LNHLer if he's a good fit. He could be a future 2C and eventually replace Bo as the 1C. I don't see Spurgeon working out long as we have Mayfield as far as defense goes, and I think that's all we need to shore up the third pairing left side for now. I like Jake Evans, plays very similar to Cizikas, could be good. I would consider talking to former Islanders legend Barry Trotz about Kemel, even though he's like 2 years out. I like Alexiak a lot. He's in Mayfield, would be stellar on the third pair if you can make the money work. Matt Roy is also interesting, as well as William Karlsson on Vegas. You could put Brock on his left wing next year, maybe. A lot of interesting options to do for sure. That makes sense. So Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to take in. I do think Obey Kabul would be interesting, especially out of the players that you mentioned, just because he was really assimilating really well in Buffalo. I don't think he would assimilate that well with our team, though, to be honest, though. But honestly, you never know. He could actually continue that simulation here with the Islanders. But if we go to the trading block, he was also mentioning about Connor Clifton having ties to the New York area. That's kind of an interesting one. I don't really know if he would help our offense out that much from the back end, but I don't really know where I would slot him in either. So maybe we look into Connor Clifton, but the fact that he signed for 1 extra year, I don't really like that much. But Nicholas Obey-Kabul being on 1 year is really interesting. He's only an 81 overall, and he's listed as a depth forward, but he's got 17 points in 24 games this season, and is a plus 15. Like, he's off to a fantastic start. So he would be probably an interesting player to bring in, maybe to help out our offense. Or even our defensive play. I don't know if he would obviously get into the top 6, but he could be like a third, fourth line guy. Maybe gets power play time, because is he getting power play time in Buffalo? He isn't. What the hell? He's not even getting that much ice time whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think he's going to end up doing that same thing with Buffalo as he would with us, but I still think he could be an interesting piece to bring in if we want to make trades. I don't know if I will make any trades in this episode. It would probably be next episode, just so we kind of know for sure that this team that we currently have doesn't work, but could be interesting. Connor Clifton so far has been actually okay in Buffalo too. 10 points in 24 games and a +7. Almost a career year in a sense. Yeah, he's definitely on pace for a career season. Yeah, we definitely have some options for sure in terms of trades if we want to make them. The next comment is from Cam Popplestone. He says, seems like a lot for Dobson, but the cap will only go up within a few seasons. And then some of your other deals like Lee, Nelson, Palmieri, and Varlamov will be up too. Short-term pain, long-term gains. So he's saying it doesn't really matter that Dobson's asking for a ton. That we should just still pretty much bite the bullet and do it. I kind of understand that, but at the same time, I feel like he is still asking for a bit much, especially just early into a franchise mode, because I'm used to like defenders asking for not 13 million until like, I feel like it's like, what year is it that it normally happens? Like 3-4 years in, maybe, that people are asking for that much. But when you're asking for it in the first year of the simulation, it's kind of crazy, especially when everybody else on this team is making way less money than that. The next comment is from Lorraine Bunn, who says, it seems to be encouraging you to stitch up yourself with the young player extensions. You may need to go short, keep RFA control, or full term to get as much UFA as possible if you want to give out contracts that walk to players straight to UFA. So, yeah, it's either going to be, if we do a contract with Dobson, it's going to have to either be like short term, because that seems what he wants right now, or we try and give him the max amount of years and then basically give him a no trade clause and all that stuff. Like, we're probably going to end up waiting till the offseason to revisit those contract negotiations, just because for some reason he wasn't accepting what he actually wanted. So I think maybe the offseason might be the best play for us to wait. That way we could actually see how much cap space we have going into next season, and we don't put ourselves in a very, very bad spot. In the last and final comment is from Purple Platypus, who says, I would qualify Dobson in the offseason and wait him out, because you're giving him above 10, which is kind of crazy this early on, especially on a cap-strapped team. That, or trade him for young defensive star / other prospects in draft capital. Maybe Zane Parekh on Calgary, Sam Dickinson on the Sharks, or Carter Yakemchuk on Ottawa. And yeah, I'm not looking to trade Dobson necessarily just yet. Obviously, if it comes to it, maybe we'd have to in a few years if he was going to go get walked to free agency. But I think right now, obviously, the play is to build around him. And obviously, if for some reason we have him like way down the road and there's like a good young defender out there, obviously we could trade him at that point. But I think I want Dobson to be here with Barzal for the long haul if possible. That way we at least have some of our old Islanders identity when we go on those cup runs, when we actually have a lot of these other guys on our team currently retire and all that type of thing. So anyways, those were the comments we got in last episode. So I think what we're going to do, I am curious on what the asking price is for somebody though, like Connor Clifton and Obey Kabul. Like, if we go to our defenders at the moment, I'm trying to see where Connor Clifton would slot in technically. He would technically, we already have 3 right-handed defensemen. That's the only problem. Like, Scott Mayfield would be getting upgraded into Connor Clifton, basically. And all 3 of our right defenders, except for Dobson, have no trade clauses. So I don't think he really makes much sense. But I am curious on what the asking price is for somebody like Obey Kabul. Because Obeka Bull's been really good. And I don't really know why he's been that good, but who knows? Maybe he could be a good bottom 6 option. Pure. Oh, wow. What the hell? Okay, that's kind of an interesting one. I don't think we'll do this right away, but the Buffalo Sabres are willing to take Pierre Engvall's contract for Obeka Bull, which would save us up $3 million. I'm not too sure how much you guys want Pierre Engvall here long term, but that's not bad. Guess it's out of a bad contract. I'm surprised Buffalo would take Engvall. So you guys could let me know about that potential trade offer. Do we get rid of Engvall and basically turn him into Obeka Bull, and then we have a ton of free up cap space for the offseason? Like, that might be a good little play to make, because it's not much of a downgrade really either. Because if we go to our lineup and we look at Engvall, he's an 81 overall left winger, basically. And then Obeka Bull was a right wing / center. So it's basically just an 81 for an 81 straight up, and we get rid of a long-term deal. Like I was saying, though, I don't know if you guys want me to hold on to Engvall. How has he been this year so far? 7 points, only +1. Like, he's not doing too good offensively for the amount of ice time. Like, he's playing basically the same amount of ice time as Obeka Bull, but with way less points. So it could be an idea. It could be an idea for the next episode if Buffalo's still willing to entertain that. Hopefully Obeka Bull doesn't get dealt in this episode or something like that, but yeah, that might not be a bad play. Aside from that, let's rework our lineup a bit maybe and see if we could find something else that could potentially work for this team. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put Barzal down the middle. We're going to move Brock Nelson to the top line. Duclair's going to be on the second line. Can any of these guys win faceoffs, or do I have to move Bo down to the second line center? Anders Lee could win faceoffs. I was not expecting that, but he isn't listed as a center. Oh, no, actually, he's listed as a left wing / center, so he can play center. So we could put Anders Lee down the middle on that second line with Duclair and Palmieri. And then the bottom 6 could pretty much stay the same. But do I want to keep Fody in the lineup? -3, only 3 points. Trying to think of what else we could do here, just bottom 6. You know what? It's not that bad, to be honest. From a defensive standpoint, maybe we are going to go back to Dobbs. Actually, yeah, we'll move Romanov down with Polak. We'll kind of split up that pairing a little bit, and then we'll keep with the same goaltending. So a little bit of adjustments. We don't have another depth for it. That's interesting. Okay. We're going to keep the rest of this the same. I think that looks good. A little bit of line juggling, and maybe that will help our team out offensively a bit. Like I said, that's been our main problem, is the fact that we can't score goals, and then also we're really bad on our special teams. So I should reorganize maybe the special teams too, but honestly, the special teams could just randomly find itself too. So, all right, so let's hop into the calendar, and we will simulate through this month of December. I think we're in, right? Yes, December. So we will go to, like I said, probably a little bit before the trade deadline, and that's where we'll stop. So we'll definitely keep tabs on how good our team is doing. If our team isn't doing good, we will make some more adjustments, and who knows, if our team just starts to fall off completely, like way too much, maybe we decide just to like not simulate anymore, and then we look at our options on what we want to do for the trade deadline episode, because obviously it would be nice to hold on to this team as much as possible early on, and then for if we are not contending, at some point we could blow it up, but not yet. But you guys were saying though about potentially also, who was it that we were upgrading? Palmieri. Let me just go to find trade. I am curious on what kind of things we could get back for somebody like Palmieri. He has a modified no trade, so he's only able to go to a certain amount of teams. So the Ducks would give us a third in Johnston. That's funny as shit. So we'd get back the enforcer that Lou gave a big contract to a few years ago. That's actually kind of hilarious. Boston, a third and a 6 for Palmieri. That's not bad. Brunet, I don't know who Brunet is in a 6. Maybe it's Fabian Brunet? I don't remember his name. I think I remember seeing him on like the St. John's Sea Dogs, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Hey, look at that. Okay, we could also get Obeka Bull straight up for Palmieri, but I don't know if we want Obeka Bull in our top 6 or not. But that would be interesting. Him in a 5th round pick for Palmieri. 3rd rounder into Nordy, no thank you, and a 4th and a 6th. So there's not really that much we could get for Palmieri. The Obeka Bull one is another one we could do, and then we could still hold on to Engvall if we want to. But I wouldn't mind at least getting Obey Kabul into this team, like you guys were mentioning, because he could be a decent fit, and he's been very good so far in Buffalo, which I don't know how he's been that good, but I will not question it. Let's go to the 16th of December and see how we do in these first few weeks. Hopefully we can string together some wins to make me feel a little bit better about our team. As we already get an injury to start this episode, Scott Mayfield has been injured with a strained hamstring. He will not be back till the 14th, so he will be back only in a few weeks, but not great to have an injury to start the episode off. Oh my goodness, 2 losses in a row where we only score 1 goal. Yeah, our offense is definitely still kind of like very inconsistent. There's back-to-back wins, though, which is nice. So hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. Let's go back to lines here and take out Mike Riley. Actually, no, it was Sam Bolduc that we need to take out of. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, I don't really know why our team's so bad offensively, but it's a typical Islanders team, in my opinion, where it's like more defensively minded. 13, 14, and 5. I mean, that's still not bad. We're still staying around 500. Still hovering around the playoffs. The last playoff spot is the Canadiens right now on 33 points. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a very tight race in the Eastern Conference to get into the postseason, I think. But we've won 3 straight games. Let's go to the 1st of January and see if we can win any more in a row. Game against Carolina. We lose in a shootout. That's at least a point, so I will take it. Game against Toronto, also a shootout loss. Damn, we're having a lot of extra frame losses. San Jose wants Lennox in a 3rd for a 4th and a 6th. No, thank you. Not getting rid of Lennox and just not doing that type of trade. Footy was never injured, I don't think. So I'm going to just continue. Game against Pittsburgh is a win. We also win that one in a shootout, and we lose that last one. But 16, 15, and 7, we are still playing relatively okay. It's just this team hasn't found a way to all of a sudden go on a big winning streak to make us well above 500. Like, we're still staying in that 500 position pretty much. Last playoff spot right now is on 41 points. And that is the Capitals. So we got to be able to beat Washington. The Atlantic Division is crazy, crazy tight. The Canadiens are also just outside of the playoffs still. But we got to worry about them. And yeah, there's a lot of tough teams. And our division's also very tight too. Because the Penguins are literally only a point back of us. The Rangers and Blue Jackets are 2 points back of us. So this is literally going to come down to the wire if we actually make the playoffs, I think, this season. Absolutely crazy. All right, so I want to take a look at our players here and see for a second. If we go back to edit lines here, we will be able to see how good they did in the month of December. So we'll see if basically those line adjustments I made actually worked out. So moving Brock Nelson to the top line, did that help him in any way, shape, or form? Like, did he have a good month of December? 12 points in 13 games since getting moved to the top line. That's why I like these split stats. That helps out a lot. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So he's actually doing really well since being put back on that top line. I would assume Barzal and stuff are doing good too in this month, or what? Let's see. December, 7 points, not as good. Wait, 29 penalty minutes did I see? No, I didn't say 29 penalty minutes. I must have said 29 shots. I was confused for a second. Bo Horvat wasn't... Actually, we had Bo Horvat we were using as a right winger. Maybe I should move Bo back to center, because he's a great face-off guy. And I think we gave him a face-off goal, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did, so we should probably put him back to middle. Let's see. How was his month? 10 points. Not too bad. So the top line's getting going a bit. Let's just move Horvat down the middle, just for the chemistry purposes. How is Anders Lee down the middle on that second line? Obviously, he's always been on the second line, but 7 points, 13 games. Not bad. What about his face-off percentage during that month? Because obviously he got moved to center. 50.9%, that's not bad. That's not too bad at all, actually. So he is doing okay as a center. Has Duclair done better since being demoted? That's an interesting one. Let's see. December, 7 points, 5 goals. I mean, he is not doing as good as he was in November, but still. -6, though, this last month, though. So definitely some plus-minus issues still with this team, it seems like. Wow, Palmieri's got 21 assists. Damn, he's actually been a really good setup guy right now. How did he do in December? 12 points in 13 games. So it seems like that second line's treating him well. All right, the rest of the bottom 6 is the exact same. Yeah. What about Pelech on the top pairing instead of the second pairing? Has that helped him out at all? 4 points in 13 games, -2, and not the best. What about Romanov on that second pairing instead of the first pairing? Has that helped him at all? And not really. A lot of guys are minus still on our team. I would assume Sorokin's stats have dropped off a bit. No, they haven't. They have not. How was he in December? 920 save percentage. He's been so good the last 2 months. His first month he was not very good, but he's been locked in the last 2 months. So Sorokin's still playing very good. How about Varlamov, a 904? How has he been the last few months? Let's see. First month in 877. Last November was 947. He only played 1 game. December he played 4 games and was not too good. All right. So we'll keep the rest of the team the same. I guess we're kind of trending in the right direction, but not too sure exactly. Like, if we look at our stats here, we're still 31st in offense, but we're 5th in goals against. Like, we are really locked in goaltending and defensively, but we cannot score. That's why we have guys that are minus on the roster. Our special teams have improved since the start of this episode, though, I think. So a lot of weird things with this roster, but let's continue to simulate. We just got to find a way to get our offense going, and we could be able to easily win games. So it's good to see that we're a great defensive team, but obviously the offense is important too. So let's go to the 19th and see if we could win some games with some good offensive efforts. 5-2 loss to start, not great, but against the Leafs of all teams. We lose to Boston as well. Oh boy, maybe we should slow down assimilation again. 3 straight losses. Okay, I'm going to stop the sim here. Yep, shootout loss 2. We can't lose too much in a row at this point, because or else that's going to hurt us in terms of the postseason. Let's see what we could do here. We might have to make a trade already in this episode, even though I wasn't planning on it. Trying to think of what we could do here. Let's go Horvat as the second line center instead. Paul Mary's been pretty good, so we'll move Paul Mary to the second line. Duclair could play right? Yeah, you can't play right. I thought so. We'll go with something a little bit different. And this bottom 6 has probably been pretty bad, I would assume. I just don't really know what I could do to make it better. Oh my god. This team is such a weird simulation team. Let's go with that. Let's go Dobson second pairing instead, just for a little bit of fun. Sorokin still on that 920. Yeah, Sorokin has definitely been the MVP of our season so far, I would say. Without him, our team wouldn't even have a chance probably of making the playoffs based on how it's been simulating so far, but let's continue to simulate after those adjustments. We might have to stop simulating a little bit earlier than I anticipated just because this team, we don't want them to fall too far out of the playoff mix, basically, is what I'm trying to say. All right, 6 more games. Let's see what we do here. Game against Ottawa. 7-4 win. Nice. Philadelphia 3-2 win, so 2 good offensive efforts in a row. 2-1 loss to San Jose is not ideal. Columbus, we lose 5-1. It's not great. Philadelphia, we lose 1-0 as Engvall has bruised his hand. That's not great. It's only for a little bit, but still, that's not great to have an injury. We lose to Carolina as well. We are dead last in the Metropolitan Division now at 18-22-8. Is it too late for this team to actually make the playoffs at this point? Like, we are 10 points back of a wild card spot. Yeah, 10 points back of the wild card. With 3 games in hand, so there is a chance still, but we need this team to be way more consistent. I think I'm only going to simulate till February the 1st in this episode just because I don't want to simulate too much and our team can't make the playoffs. Colorado, we win that game though. And Philadelphia, we win that game. Okay, back to 20-22-8. We are still last place, and we are currently 8 points back with 3 games in hand. So there is a realistic chance we could still make it, of course, but I am very conflicted with how this team's simulating. Like, we're still 31st in offense, still 5th in defense, so we're great defensively, and then our special teams are mid as shit. Like, what do we need to do to basically get this team to being good? It's very strange. Let's take a look at our player stats up to this point of the season, and then we'll take a look at the trading block again just to see if there's anything out there. But I don't really know what we want to do. I think we want to obviously try and push to make the playoffs still, even though we are a little bit outside of it right now. Maybe we make some sort of trade to get us way better offensively. Sorokin's stats have dropped off a little bit. He's down to a 918 save percentage, but he's still been definitely the main reason why we're actually still fighting to get into this postseason. So that's interesting. Let's go to our player stats anyways here at the moment, just to see what's been going on. Let's also take a look at our team stats though. Actually, no, we don't really need to take a look at our team stats because we already just saw them basically. Let's take a look at our player stats, so see who's underperforming on the team at the moment. So, I mean, Bo Horvat's been great. 40 points, 49 games. He's done exactly what he should be doing. He is a little bit under point per game, obviously, though, because their offense sucks. Brock Nelson on 36 points. He's been good. Barzell on 32. He's also been good. Pageau's on 20 points. That's not really that bad. So our depth scoring might not be terrible. It's just the amount of offense we're getting in general as a team combined. Cizikas on 13 points, minus 10. There is a bit of plus-minus issues for sure, but then again, it's because we're not scoring enough. And then Foodie on 5 goals and 7 points. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to have Liam Foodie in the lineup. That's probably something we should probably try and upgrade, is that like 4th line left wing spot. Like, that's why I'm saying maybe we look at bringing in Obey Kabul still. And then Duclair on 34 points, 17 goals. Not bad. Lee on 25 points. Engvall only on 11 points in 48 games. And he's making $3 million with this modified no trade. If Buffalo is still willing to take Engvall for Obey Kabul, would you guys do it? I know I would do it just because it would free up cap space down the road. But I'm not too sure if Engvall's kind of like the player that you want to have there, like the gel kind of guy. I'm not too sure if you Islanders fans want to hold on to him long term or not. But yeah, he's not been that great so far. And I don't know if he's really worth that modified no trade. Right wing side of things, Palmieri's been good. He is a pending free agent though, so if we did want to move on from him and upgrade him, this would be the year to do so. Holmstrom on 11 points, only minus 6. Yeah, the plus minuses are not great. Hudson Fasching has 7 goals. That's okay. I'll take that from a 4th line guy. Gauthier 2 points in 5 games. Not bad. Defensively, Dobson on 22 points, minus 8. Pollock has 15 points. Pellick on 11. We're not getting as much points as I was hoping for from some of the back end guys, because I was hoping a little bit more out of somebody like Ryan Pollock. Yeah, some of these guys are not similar to, well, like I'd say Pollock's on on pace for like 20 something points, 25 points maybe around. Dobson's on pace for like probably over 30 points, like 35. Like, we need more offense from the back end too. That's maybe something we're lacking as an OFD. I don't really know. And goaltending, Sorokin still got that 918. No, he's been very good. It's good to see an actual elite goalie simulate like one. And then Semyon Varlamov has not been very good so far, an 892 save percentage through 9 games with that that contract that he currently has. So I've been very happy with Sorokin. I'd say I've been happy with Bo Horvat as well. A couple of the other top 6 options, but there's something that this team is lacking, and I can't really put my finger on what it is at the moment. Our leading goal scorers are Horvat and Duclair with 17 apiece. Like, we only have 4 goal scorers with 10 or more goals. Everybody else is below. Let's take a look at the trading block again and see if there's anything out there. But obviously, we're not going to make trades in this episode. But if you guys see anything again that you think we should trade for to try and get this team better offensively, let me know, because we are definitely still in the mix for the playoffs, but it's going to be a big hill to climb in these last remaining months of the season. Frank Vetrano, that's a goal scorer. I don't remember if he has a contract extension already, though, or not. How's Vetrano doing? 15 goals and 23 points. Second line forward. This is the type of guy I would bring in potentially for our top 6 to help in scoring. No extension in place. Yeah, Frank Vetrano's good. 38 points this year, 15 goals, which would be one of our best goal scorers on the team. He could definitely help us out. He could play right and left wing. He would fit into our top 6 as like a replacement for Palmieri. I don't mind Frankie V. And I don't remember. I know that he used to play for the Rangers at one point. Where is Frank Vetrano from? I don't remember. Is he from like Massachusetts or some shit? I'm trying to think if he has like any ties to the New York area. I feel like he does, but I don't know. No, he's from Massachusetts. I thought he was from Massachusetts. Okay. I don't know if he has any tie to New York other than the Rangers. No, played for UMass Amherst. Okay, yeah, he's Massachusetts boy, basically. But yeah, he would be really interesting, I think. Robbie Fabry as a sniper as well. I don't know if he's similarly that good. Actually, he is. 32 points. That's not bad. I don't mind Fabry, but I know that he's made of glass in real life, basically. His durability still is 75 in this. EA, if you're making a guy that's like been injured so many times, literally just nerf his durability to like 50 at least. But anyways, Brian Dumoulin, Brock McGinn, and then there's of course Ross Johnson, former Islander. I would say the most interesting player on the Ducks here, Frank Vetrano, for sure. Boston, just prospects, so nothing I would trade for right now. And then the Buffalo Sabres still have Connor Clifton on the block, but Nicholas Obey-Kabul has been removed from the block. I don't know if he got dealt or if he's still there. We'll definitely take a look and see, just because I'm curious on where he is, if he did get dealt. Tenorti is on the block. We don't need him for sure. Don't need a physical defenseman. Arvid Soderblom is a backup. We don't need him because we got Varlamov. You know, he's not been great so far this year. Anybody else? We're looking for roster players, potentially. Casey DeSmith. All right, as backup. We don't need him, though. Ville Husso, no. Adam Henrique, as a defensive forward, not bad, but we don't really need more defensive play, I feel like, on our bottom six, but he's a nice little upgrade. He's on 31 points this season, though. So he has been really good. So Adam Henrique is interesting. He would be a good bottom six upgrade, but I'm not too sure on that. Matt Savoie is still on the block in case you guys want me to still trade for him. He's been playing in Bakersfield. He's got 36 points in 37 games. Aside from that, what else we got here? More prospects. Darcy Kemper on the block. Not looking for anybody in net. Spurgeon doesn't matter. Freddie Gaudreau is still kind of an interesting bottom six guy, but he is signed for 4 years, which is a lot for a bottom six option. What else we got here? Brendan Gallagher, no thank you. Josh Anderson, no thank you. Joel Armia, no. None of those guys are too interesting to me. Jake Evans could be interesting, but he's not much of an upgrade. Like the other guy was saying, he's like Cizikas, basically. Joachim Kamel is still on the block, too, because I know you guys were mentioning about him. Playing pretty good in the AHL right now. Very close to making it to the NHL at the moment. Wait, Fedor Svechkov, what's his potential? Top 6. Svechkov is also a good prospect, but we're not looking for prospects really right now. I think Frank Vetrano is the guy we might need to go out and acquire. Based on that. Ostapchuk's on the block. Interesting. Sam Gagner, no. Ryan Graves, 5 years left. Jesus. Shattenkirk got signed by the Penguins in this. Matt Nieto. None of those guys are huge upgrades. Blackwood. Larson. Alexiak is still on the block if you guys want me to upgrade our defense more. He's listed still as a top 6 defenseman as an 83. That's interesting. Yeah, Jamie Alexiak's not bad. He's only signed for 1 more year after this year. Brandon Tanev. Tanner Pearson. St. Louis. Faxa, Captain. There's some options for sure, but I definitely think Frank Vetrano is what we'd go for. Connor Geeky's on the block. That's a pretty good prospect. He's been actually doing well in the preseason, I feel like, in real life. Let's see what else we got here. Utah. Not really anything. Vancouver. Aturatu. Nothing else. Vegas is still offloading players like McNabb, Theodore. William Karlsson's still on the block. He would be very good. Wow, he's on 47 points right now, but that trade value is probably, yeah, very high. To get somebody like him, we'd have to give up probably a lot. Would he actually want to come here, though? He would. Interesting. Barbashev's on the block, too, and Ben Hutton, so Vegas offloading a lot. Washington, I don't want Matt Roy because his contract is too much, in my opinion. In Winnipeg, Chaz Lucius is a solid prospect. Braden Yeager. So I think Frankie Vetrano is probably what I would lean towards. What I'm going to do now, though, is we're going to see what it would cost for Frank Vetrano. And then you guys could let me know if that's realistic that we should bring him in or not. So how much would Frank Vetrano cost us? Like, or set us back, basically. Let's see. Open trade block, nothing found. What about just find trade? Nothing found. Okay, we would probably have to rework a deal on our own, but he doesn't have a crazy amount of trade value. So yeah, I think Frank Vetrano is what I'm going to look into potentially next episode for sure to join the team. Aside from that, let me go to the player search here for a second. I am curious to find where Obey Kabul went, because I don't know if he got dealt. Yes, he was playing great in Buffalo, and then he's not on the block anymore, so I'm not too sure if he's still there or not, or if he got traded away. Let's see, where is Obey Kabul? He is still in Buffalo. Okay, so he just got removed from the trading block. And is he playing still good so far? No, he dropped off a cliff, basically. But 25 points is still good. He's only a +1 now, though. But if we look at his game logs, or split stats, actually. To start the season, October he was 6 points, 10 games. November he had 11 points, 14 games. December he dropped down to only 3 points and was -10 that month. So, yeah, Obey Kabul, not as good as he was early on, which means he's not really somebody I would bring in probably now anymore. But I do think Frank Vetrano is the guy that we need to look into. Because if we bring in Vetrano, and if we go to our edit lines here, where would he fit on his team? He would probably be at the second line. The second line is where he would fit. If we centered the deal around Palmieri, I do like Palmieri though a little bit. We could always move Lee down to the third line and then get Vetrano into the second line next to Horvat. That makes our left wing side a little bit stronger. And then we could get somebody like Foodie out of the lineup almost. So I don't mind that whatsoever. I think that's probably the play going forward. It gives us somebody else that could help us out with the goal scoring and maybe get us back into the playoff mix a bit. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll simulate the rest of the year one regular season, and we'll see, obviously, if we make the playoffs. We're going to try and make some upgrades to our offensive core, I'd say, a little bit. Just because right now, obviously, we're a great defensive team, but we need somebody to bring that offense and also help out our power play and all that. And I think Frank Vetrano is definitely the guy to target. I'm just not too sure exactly what we want to give up in order to get him. Like, do we want to throw Liam Foodie into a deal, give up maybe one of our early picks this year? Like, we could even give up our first round pick if we really want to, or a second rounder or something like that. But obviously, there's a little bit of a risk because we might not make the playoffs this year, but depends on, I guess, if we find that offensive touch or not in the last half of the season. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.